welcome to Book Witches with a B. I'm Oorja.
And I'm Colleen.
And you are listening to us live from the Novel Neighbor. A wonderful indie women-run bookstore in St. Louis.
I think it's also owned by a woman.
And owned. Amazing.
They're incredible. They do, if you were a book reader in St. Louis, you have heard of them.
Yeah.
Almost all of the authors' events I've been to have been by them.
Correct.
Including the one of the book that we're going to do today, which is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I'm so excited.
Before we get started, the Novel Neighbor is running a really fun promotion right now. You can follow them on Instagram at Novel Neighbor.
Yes, they're incredible. Please follow them. And
their whole campaign, it's really cute. It's like with the Cardinals and baseball, which I truly know nothing about.
It's because it was opening day recently.
Yep.
It's a whole thing in St. Louis.
It is Happy Opening Day, STL. We don't just have the best fans in baseball, we also have the best fans in books.
Cute.
And if you go on their website, you can, it's like a banner right up on their website. It takes you to the page for this campaign.
Oh,
you
nice.
can buy cropped baseball tees. You can buy baseball hat. But like, it's not like it has a book on it though.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like it's baseball style.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Actually, I was looking at the cropped shirt. That looks really cute.
Right? And it says, the best fans, the best book fans.
We are the best book fans.
We are.
I feel like we can easily take that title.
I think so.
Yeah.
Clearly. They also have really fun merch. This is one of their shirts, which I'm not gonna move it.
No, because it'll fall over.
It says The Novel Neighbor on it. And it has a little, like, it's a door, but it's a book.
Mm-hmm. Which is cute.
It's so cute.
It's also a very fun blue color. It's the same, I think you can tell, but in case it's grading weird, it's like this blue color.
It's like a grayish blue.
Yeah, like a heather blue?
Yeah.
Is that what that's called?
I think so.
Okay. We're learning colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right.
We're so excited to be here.
Excited.
Everyone was incredibly nice.
So nice.
Helped us get set up. It's been great.
Yes. If you love books and you love bookstores, please come and support St. Louis's amazing local bookstores, including the Novel Neighbor.
Yes.
If you love authors and you want to see the authors that write your favorite books, the Novel Neighbor is probably putting on an event with them.
I've been to 3 this year alone.
Yeah.
So it's been incredible. If you follow us on Instagram, you will have seen all 3 of them.
This is true.
So follow us.
Yeah, follow us.
So you'll know about book news in St. Louis.
At Book Witches Pod.
Yes. Also follow Novel Neighbor. They
also
also will tell you probably more promptly than we will. We will just tell you when we're there.
We'll tell you after. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right. Shall we get started?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so I'm prefacing this. This is a spoiler episode for Love Theoretically because we are doing, not typically what we do, the entire book.
The whole book.
So this will also be a very broad overview of the book. It will not be as in-depth per chapter. It's what we got. So,
yeah. And Colleen, you're the moderator today.
I am the moderator. I was nervous. And so I was like, I'm going to make questions, so I feel really official.
It's very official.
I also just think it's easier to go through the discussion.
It sure is. Let's go. Chapter recap or book recap.
It's a whole book recap.
A whole book recap.
Not even a chapter recap. So this book is about a girl named Elsie. I keep wanting to call her Elise, which is really funny. If you know the book. Elsie, I get panicked between the 2 names. Okay, her name is Elsie Hanaway, and she is a PhD. She's a PhD in theoretical physics and is currently working as an adjunct professor. Her side gig, because she has no health insurance, and it's not going well for her. She has diabetes, so she needs health insurance. She is on this fake dating app called Faux. And she
FAUX.
Yes, like faux leather type things or whatever. Also phony, which I think is funny, which I think is the point. Mm-hmm. So she goes out on fake dates with men who basically need dates for events. And one of the people that she meets there, and she regularly goes out with, which is against their policy. Actually, you're only supposed to do 1 date. She likes this guy. His name is Greg. And Greg has a very overbearing family, who is really insistent that he needs to get married, probably for his really rich grandmother's inheritance. Mm-hmm. And in that process, we meet his brother, Jack Smith, who constantly comes across as real cold, judgmental, and seemingly instantly dislikes her, or has like a weird obsession with her. He asks a lot of questions.
It is immediately obsessive, is what I would call it.
But from Elsie's point of view, it is, he hates me because he's asking all these questions and doesn't think I'm good enough to date. Something else to mention about all of this. So one of the things that's like part of the guidelines to protect the women's identities basically is you give everyone a fake job. So she crafted the perfect job that she thought Greg and his family would like, and she said that she's a child librarian. And
a child librarian?
Children's librarian?
Okay.
Children's librarian? Is that different?
Weird.
Is child librarian not the same thing?
My mind went straight to child bride, and I don't know why.
Children's librarian.
It's fine.
Yep. I mean, there's probably an S in there. It's fine.
Who knows?
She works with kids in the library. It's what she says she does.
In the children's section.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, sorry, my brain.
No, it's fine. You're probably right. That's just what my brain went to. So it's not her real job. Right, and she also assumes, this is all important information, that Jack is a PE teacher, because when she was talking to Greg got out in teaching, and that's all she knew, so she assumed physical education, thought he was a PE teacher. We're about to learn very swiftly that's not what he does.
This is not true, yep.
So during this process, Elsie mentions that she is going for an MIT interview to be a tenured track professor at, I was going to say University of Boston. University of Boston is where she is adjunct teaching.
Yeah.
She's going to be a tenured track professor in the physics department. So she's really excited about this. And so she goes to this dinner, and she meets early on with the woman named Monica, who is also in theoretical physics. And this is where we learn kind of the big conflict in this book about the difference between mechanical physics and theoretical physics.
Yes.
So apparently there was a guy named Jack Smith Turner. He's bad.
Jonathan Smith Turner.
Is it Jonathan Smith
It
Turner?
is, yeah, that's why she doesn't realize.
Oh.
Yeah.
I clearly put Jack in my notes.
It's
fine. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to names. That's what we're getting at. They don't matter to me. The romance is what matters. Jonathan Smith Turner. That makes more sense. He sounds like a pirate that way. That makes me giggle.
Basically, I can help you out here.
Okay, great.
And also, quick note, it's experimental physics and theoretical, not mechanical.
I'm thinking of engineering.
Yes,
so
you
I was
are.
writing my notes on this, and I was like, I know this isn't right, but my brain was really stuck on it. And I was like, it's not mechanical physics.
It's fine. Everyone use what it. Experimental
It's
physics.
fine.
I mean, because they're practicing. It's mechanical in a way.
It is. I don't know why. I think it's because I know mechanical engineering, and that just really stuck in my brain.
That was just it.
That's the only STEM thing I know of.
So Jonathan Smith Turner,
Yes.
when Elsie was in elementary school,
Correct.
Jonathan Smith Turner wrote a phony
paper
that
Yes.
was published in like a renowned physics journal.
Correct.
To prove, well, this is all what we think. So it's like to prove how ridiculous theoretical physics is.
Correct.
And the journal the paper got published in the journal, and no one, like, there was nothing until finally it came out that this was all complete, like, bullshit.
Correct.
None of it was real. It was all just, like, a big old prank to point out how useless theoretical physics is.
Correct. And caused, like, a lot of, backlash. The editor of the paper essentially was discredited, wasn't allowed to take anyone. A little caveat to that is Elsie's academic advisor.
Yes.
His name is Dr. Lauren Doe, or Dr. L, but you would never say that to his face. But they refer to him as Dr. L.
Yeah.
Pretty frequently throughout this process. So it turns out that Jonathan Smith Turner is on this committee to select her. And so Monica is like, I really want to pull for you. We need more theoretical physicists at MIT. I really think you're going to get the job over George. She is not supposed to say the name of the person,
Monica.
but she does. Monica is something. She walks into this interview. She walks in, like, with Monica. She makes eye contact with Jack Smith, which is Greg's brother, who thinks she's a librarian. And she's like, this is the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I would have left, I think. I think I would have just turned around and left. This is also when she realizes that Jack Smith is Jonathan Smith Turner, who wrote this paper. So she's now also enraged.
Yeah.
Because she realizes who this man was. So they sit down for this dinner, basically, and Jack is just not having it. He's like, you're not a physicist. Starts asking really pointed questions. So she runs away. Basically, she's like, I have to go to the bathroom.
I will say here that he asks really pointed questions, and everyone else thinks that it's this rivalry between physical or experimental and theoretical
physics. It's
and
easier
he's
to get
just
confused.
like, no, she's a librarian. What?
Yeah, so I think he's like slightly probing to see like, are you actually a
Yeah.
physicist, and why would you lie about that? I think he's just like perplexed and a very direct person, which
Yes.
we will get to.
Yes.
So she absolutely runs away. She's just like, I have to go to the bathroom, and panics, and Jack, being him, is just like, I'll follow.
Me too.
Me too. And gets up and follows her. So they're having this like heated altercation, like, why are you lying to Greg? What's going on? Da da da. And I don't remember exactly how. I think it was just like someone was coming, and so they went into the men's bathroom to have this discussion. And while they're in the process of that, they hear people coming into the men's bathroom. So Jack essentially shoves her into the stall and sets her on top of the toilet in there, which is actually how this book opens.
Yeah.
We open with her
This
standing
is
in a
like
toilet.
chapter 2?
It's literally the opening line
Oh, yeah,
is,
yeah, that's right.
I was standing on a toilet with my with my fake boyfriend's brother, who I hate. How did I get here? It's a really great opening.
It is
line.
really good. It's so good.
And they end up hearing some kind of really sexist things from some of the other people that she's interviewing with at this point. So basically, at this point, she's just, she goes back, does the interview. It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
But we do learn a lot about Elsie's people-pleasing tendencies.
Yes.
That stem from her childhood. We kind of like steer off and talk about this for a little bit. So when she was diagnosed with diabetes, she overheard her parents talk about how basically she was going to be a really big burden on the family, so she's like, I'm never going to be a burden to anyone again. And she took that very literally. So she has this concept of like multiple Elsies, similar to how like, I think something, is it sound? Something in physics can be both a particle and a wave, basically. So they can be multiple things, so she can be multiple Elsies.
Yeah.
But Jack, so she's really good at reading people. She can't read anything on Jack.
Yep.
And so she honestly just gives up and just absolutely unloads. She starts screaming at him, saying, I'm going to get this job over your precious George. And Jack's like, why do you know that? What is happening? And she just kind of like storms out of the bathroom. We don't really hear much else about the rest of the interview process. She goes home to her roommate, Cece, who we love.
We do.
And they just kind of discuss it. So then we move on, essentially, if we're just skipping ahead a little bit, to what the next stage of this interview, essentially. Does she talk to... She might talk to Dr. L. I think she talks to Dr. L in between. Oh, gosh, Dr. L. Okay, so Dr. L is her advisor. You can tell how we think about him.
Yeah.
In this process, you're going to learn why later.
Yeah.
So she is like, I always have to talk to my advisor after everything. He knows that she's interviewing for this position, and he's also the one that got her all her adjuncting jobs and kind of got her career in college. She struggled for a little while in college and had to, like, she didn't think she was going to get accepted into a PhD program. Dr. L helped her get accepted to Northwestern. So she's grateful to the stuff that he's done for her. And she's like, hey, so I'm interviewing for this MIT job. Jack's there.
Yeah.
Jonathan's there. And he's like, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
So he basically tries to tell her to stop pursuing. And she's like, oh, it's kind of a lie, kind of not, because she won't be working with him a whole lot in her job. She's like, I won't really be working with him. I don't want to give up this dream. And he's like, okay, you can do what you want, but stay away from him. She doesn't.
She sure doesn't.
I can't tell by the cover of this book. She definitely doesn't. So it's just a whole thing. Yeah. Clearly, there's something kind of odd in there to know. Oh, he also calls her Elise.
He calls her Elise,
Which I get nervous about saying. I listened to this book, which I should also preface, so I think that like reiterated in my brain. Her name is Elsie. She never corrected him. I will say the way that Elsie is written is also written like Elise.
It is very similar. I will also say that I have had people call me by the wrong name their entire time of knowing me because I never corrected them the first time. So I get it.
Yes. It's like a slight, but I also, like, as she puts, in his defense, did not tell him that that's what it was.
Did not correct him.
So she has to do a teaching demonstration is the next part of this MIT interview. And it turns out that she is going to be in Jack's classroom, which is with experimental physicists, right? So she walks in, she's doing this. One of the lovely men in the classroom basically try to call her out for being a theoretical physicist. She handles it really well, but not in a way that she's comfortable with. She's just like, we need you, like, you make our experiments worthwhile. And she's like, I hate every part of this, but it works, and she does really well. And she, like, looks up at Jack to be like, meh. And he's just smiling, leaning against the wall, and she's like, what is happening? Yeah. She's, like, very confused, because at this point, again, she assumes he hates theoretical physics.
Yep.
Right?
Which is a fair assumption.
He's not said anything against it. He's never once really stated any of that. So then after all of that's happening, she gets to do fun one-on-one interviews. So she goes to different people's offices, literally doesn't interview any of them. One of them, she's sitting on a yoga ball. The other one, she's helping them on the phone with the dentist. She's like, it's fine. I'm not that concerned about it. And then she's going to her last interview. It's supposed to be with someone else. Turns out to be with Jack. So she walks in. He just doesn't address that she's in the room at all. And so she's just like, fine, whatever. So she sits in this chair, dead silent. And he's like, are we going to get on with the interview? She goes, I assumed you wanted to ignore me. So they have very fun kind of back and forth banter where he's like, I don't hate theoretical physics, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to see a tour of the campus? Would you like to see your office? So she walks into this office and she's like, I love this office. She goes, I want my chalk and my chalkboard and I want to sit here and I want to work on liquid crystals, which is her research. Yeah. And she's just like so excited about it. And Jack goes, this won't be your office, Elsie. And she's like, you don't know that. And he goes, I do know that. It's not going to be your office, and I'm telling you that now because no one else is going to. And she's like, I looked up George, which she did. She looked up George.
She did.
And she's like, he's not as good as me. Like, I'm fine. And Jack's just like, okay. She gets so worked up that she has a diabetic episode where her sugar crashes. She's also not been taking care of it.
She has not been taking care of herself.
Not completely her fault. She doesn't really have access to be able to take care of herself.
She also she also is an adjunct professor with a load of like 9 classes this semester, which is unbelievable.
One of the best parts of this book is at the beginning, a lot of the chapters, there's like
emails from her students. It's so funny.
It's so funny. I skimmed over that
because, again, so accurate.
Read the book. You should. It's really, really funny seeing all the things that she gets. So they have this kind of, this is also the second time that she's passed out in front of him, but again, he doesn't know that she's diabetic.
Right.
He kind of figures it out in this process and like gets her sugar and does all this stuff. So he's like, oh, that's why you passed out at this like family fake dating event. So then she's like, oh, done with this. And she's like, okay, she only has one more step left in this interview. And that is to go to Monica's house for a really fun academic mixer, which she talks about is not fun.
It's not fun.
It's just what colleges do to try to make it seem fun. So she's basically trying to hang out, hide. Jack is once again, around her. And Monica comes up and says, hey, this is my son, Austin. Elsie immediately realizes that this is one of her clients from the fake dating app. He was also one of her worst clients. So Monica luckily walks away before this is all happening or whatever, and he basically implies that she's a dirty sex worker. Not that that's really a thing, but that's his implication. Yeah. And that she's like this horrible person, wouldn't even do what he paid for, blah, 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 blah. Jack's not having it. Absolutely physically threatens him. Yeah. Tells him to go away. This is kind of when he really starts to put the pieces together that she's definitely maybe something weird is like she's not really dating Greg. Yeah. Like there's definitely more to the story here. So speaking of Greg, so part of the reason that Jack can't confirm that Greg is fake dating because Elsie is trying not to reveal any information that Greg's not ready to share, which is very kind of her.
It is very kind.
She should have just revealed it, but I get it. That is not in her nature, and I respect her for that. Greg has been stuck at this like goop like inspired yoga retreat where no one can have phones, which is his worst nightmare. He's hating all of this. But he had a tooth explode, so he got to leave a little early. Yay. And is at the dentist, and so Elsie is sitting on the couch, gets a call from the dentist and says, please come pick up this man. You have texted him 20 times. Yeah. I'm hoping you can come get him. So she goes to the dentist and goes to get him. Turns out Jack shows up also. Yep. So they go back to Greg's apartment. They have a fun little flirty banter moment. This is like fully when he realizes that it's a fake dating scheme. And that's basically the really important bit. There's other things again at this, but that's the important bit of that. So then we're going to skip forward ahead. So Elsie is just waiting to hear back from this MIT interview. She is like obsessively checking her phone. So her roommate Cece's like, we're going out for a fun movie, which for her is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Cece. Oh God, Cece.
In Cece's defense, Elsie never told her that she does not like these kind of like Art Nouveau,
true.
Like classic high cinema type films.
Elsie's my girl. Because you know what she does like? Twilight.
She loves Twilight.
And you know, if you have seen this podcast,
we do talk about Twilight a lot.
Anyways.
It's a great literary reference. So good. So they're going to this, and on the way out, they're talking about this movie, whatever. And then there's Greg and a woman with him. Not Greg, Jack and a woman walking up.
Yes.
And this woman's like, hi, my name is Georgina Sepulveda. So she is like an incredible woman in physics. Elsie really respects her, loves her work, has read a lot of her work. And she's like, yeah, like I know Jack because I'm going to be working with him soon at IT. This is when Elsie realizes that George is Georgina and that she lost the job in front of everybody. So in very, I think, girlhood fashion, she runs away.
Yep.
Doesn't confront anything, doesn't do anything. It's in the middle of a snowstorm. She just starts running.
Just runs.
She completely runs away. And so, of course, Jack follows her and just leaves her roommate and Georgina standing on the sidewalk, chasing after her. So basically, Jack catches up to her and he's like, it was a bad faith interview. Please let me explain. I know you're never going to talk to me again after this, and I would hate for you to think that you did something wrong. And she's like, I just want to go home and eat cheese because she loves cheese.
She's my girl.
I'm not against it. So she's having this meltdown, but it's also in the middle of a snowstorm. She can't really get home.
Yeah.
So she goes to Jack's very exposed, as she puts it, apartment because he has no curtains. He just doesn't have curtains in his house. And she's like, what do you mean about bad faith interviews? So he sits her down, makes her hot chocolate, gives her the packet so she can figure out her sugar, which is really sweet. She's like, no one's ever done that. And I'm like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And basically she's like, he goes through and is like, this is coming from my grants. Like, this money I was told to come in to MIT to, like, bolster up their experimental physics department. Like, this position was essentially made for Georgina, and Monica just wanted to get back at me, essentially. If it wasn't made for her, you probably would have been, like, a really close contender. I removed myself from voting, actually, because I felt conflicted about it, and I knew one of the people directly. But I don't want you to think that you did a bad job. It was a bad faith interview, and it was on Monica, and she should have told you, basically. And so he's like, you should stay the night. Very casual, Jack. So casual of him. He's like, you can sleep in my bed. I'll sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Rummage through my things. Do what you want.
Right, Snoop, go for it. What?
So she does.
Yeah.
And to look for a phone charger, also curious, I think. And she finds this photo in his side table of her and Jack that was from one of the earlier events. They're both playing Go, which is like a big physicist game or whatever. And she's like, why is this in his side table or whatever? So she does end up staying the night. And so the next morning, they're making, coffee, doing the things. He hands her coffee. She doesn't like coffee. He's like, please tell me you don't like coffee. Stop doing this to me.
Yeah.
Tell me the truth. So he goes, hey, do you want to be my assistant? Basically, like, you can work for me. Like, I can give you a job. She goes, I don't want to work for you. And he goes, great. Now that that's out of the way, do you want to go on a date with me?
Jack.
You don't do those things in that order. And she's just like, no. But then she says yes. Yeah. Because she gets nervous. And then, honestly, there's a lot of stuff about dates. But I think you should just read it.
You should.
It's really cute. There's also,
so cute.
If you're an Ali Hazelwood fan, a cameo from earlier characters in the book. Olive is from an earlier book.
Oh, my God.
Olive and Adam.
I love
so
it.
Olive and Adam are in there from an earlier book. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit to where Georgina offers Elsie a job. And she's like, hey, she like calls her, meets her up for lunch. She's like, hey, you're incredible. I think, like, I'm working in liquid crystals, but it's a side project for me. I want you to work for me for 3 years. It's a 3-year contract, postdoc work, and you can run it all yourself. And she's like, I really want this job. But she goes, can I talk to Dr. L first? Georgina has this whole reaction. And she's like, I really would have liked you working for me. And she's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on with this? She ends up going to one of her dates is going to a party with Jack. And there's a girl named Andrea who I kind of hate.
Oh, she's the worst.
She's the worst. And she's also very drunk at this party. They're like they're at this party where they do speed go.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Go Blitz.
It's a very physicist academic thing. It's a bunch of academics. This is actually where Olive and Adam, I think, make their appearance.
Yes.
So she like accidentally, but not so accidentally, eavesdrops on them in the kitchen, and she's like, Andrea's talking to Jack, and she's like, you hate theoretical physics. You read that article a long time ago. And this is where Elsie's realizing that she hasn't really addressed the hurt and the big thing in their relationship. So Jack, like, takes her home, and he's just like, goes back to her apartment for the first time, actually. And he's just like, what's going on? I can tell you're upset. And she's like, you ruined something that I love deeply. And everyone respects you so much because you're you, that it's caused a continuation of my field being discredited and threatened. And there were so many unintended consequences of this, including Dr. L. And he goes, Dr. L was not unintentional.
Not unintentional.
She goes, what do you mean? So what we've learned some of this a little bit earlier, but Jack's mom was a physicist and a theoretical physicist on top of that. And she was actually working with Dr. L. And when she got pregnant, he forced her out of the project and basically barred her from ever working in physics again.
And stole credit for all of her work.
And stole credit for all of her work. So he said, I was not unintentionally, I was targeting him directly, and I knew that if it was something in his interest, he was more likely to let it through if it confirmed what he already thought. So I published this paper. I will say he did try to go to Northwestern and report it, and they were like, well, you're not the victim. We can't do anything. Yeah. So he is 17, very enraged, in kind of a weird situation. His stepmom is not very nice.
His stepmom, who is Greg's real mom, by the way, which is sad for Greg.
Bless Greg. Yes. So that family is all kind of a mess. Yeah. So she's like, I understand that, and fair, but you still have not taken credit for the actions of the things that you do. I need you to leave. Yeah. So he leaves. And so she's having this whole thing where she's struggling and trying to figure out, she has 2 weeks to accept Georgina's offer. And so she finally is able to go talk to Dr. L. She honestly completely forgets about her job offer because she's so focused on confronting him about this news that she learned. Yeah. And she tells him oh yeah, I want to work with Georgina. He goes, oh no, you're not going to work with her. She's friends with Jack. You're not doing that. There were so many other, if you really want to work with experimental physicists, there was plenty of others. And she goes, what do you mean?
Excuse me.
So she assumes that there was no one else that reached out to her, and that's why she's adjuncting, which is not true. She had multiple other people reach out to her, and he goes, they were unacceptable.
They were all experimentalists.
Yes. And she's like, you don't get to make that decision. And he goes, it essentially is no, the only thing you're supposed to do is obey me. Yeah. You're supposed to do what I want you to do. And she's like, oh my gosh, Jack was right about you. Yeah. And so she confronts him and is like, I'm not doing this. I'm taking the job, essentially. And the final line that she says to him, which I love, and she goes, by the way, you should start calling me Elsie. Instead of Elise. And she leaves, knowing that she's probably never going to talk to him again. So she accepts the job from George and then essentially goes and finds Jack, and they make up after Jack writes an article retracting all of his statements and stating theoretical physics is incredible. It's truly one of my favorite types of physics. Here are some of my favorite theoretical physicists of the last 10 years, and he cites her paper in it. So he takes accountability. He does. Completely separate from Elsie. He truly is this was long overdue. Yeah. I mean, it was motivated by her. I don't think he would have without her.
It was motivated, but he did it for theoretical physicists. Correct. Not specifically for her.
So at that point, she's decided he's taken enough accountability for all of his actions, and they make up, and it's really cute.
It's cute.
Yes.
The end.
So please read the book. There's so much more.
There's so much. This book is, it's not a small book. It's how many pages?
I don't know, actually. Let's see author's notes. So 384 pages, which is a lot to summarize.
It is.
So I did leave out a lot, but I think that means that people can go read it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of, it is a spicy book.
It is a spicy book.
I love the spice in this book.
It's so good.
This is one of my favorite,
it's so good.
The spice written books.
They're
incredible. But yeah. So.
All right. Let's get to it.
Let's get into it. Okay. First impressions for you. What did you think? So I have read this book and have been telling her to read Ali Hazelwood for a while. Yes. So I'm very excited. What did you think? First impressions.
I loved it. Going through the book, we have specifically decided to talk about this.
We do, yes.
My first immediate reaction was Elsie and Cece. Mm-hmm. Most manic pixie dream girls I've ever encountered in a book before, because I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, I will say. Yes. And so I kept on going back and forth between being really frustrated with Elsie, because Cece owns it.
Cece knows who she is. Yeah. And I love her.
Elsie just creates all of her personas and is never truly herself. And so I was getting frustrated with her a lot. Correct. I was also just, every first impressions, I think it's one of the cutest romances. I love how detailed she is about the world of academia and physics. Yes. So I also immediately, after I finished, because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself, looked up. I was like, is Jonathan Smith Turner based on anything.
Yes.
And he is. He is. This happened, it was in a different area.
She talks about it a little bit at the,
Yeah.
like, author's note. I think it was in linguistics,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. It was another area of academia, and this was, like, a legitimate thing that happened.
Legitimately, someone published, like, a fake article, and so I was like, that is so incredible. And
It's also very
apparently
academic.
You can read the Wikipedia page for all the tea.
I will be reading that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's also a really fun premise, I think, for a book.
Yeah.
I love romance. I read a lot of contemporary romance. Oorja does not as much.
I don't.
Although I say I read a lot of contemporary romance, I just read a lot of Ali Hazelwood because she has a lot of them. I love that she writes STEM, women in STEM romances, and they're, like, fully adults.
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, postdoc, 23 to 25-ish or in there, depending.
I think she was 30.
Was she 30? Yeah, so, like,
Maybe.
they're
Yeah.
older, which I love.
Yeah.
So, first impressions, the other one I had was, do you read contemporary romance? But you already
I
addressed
don't read a lot. Trying to think. I read some, like, Nicholas Sparks and stuff.
I was obsessed with Nicholas Sparks in
Yeah.
high school. If you're ever on our socials, we talk about books that we read.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of Sparks in high school, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
I was obsessed.
No, I do enjoy a good contemporary romance. I just don't often read it.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. Okay, so we're going to go into our section superlatives.
Section superlative.
If you're joining us for the first time, this is a section that we do for, like, all of our books where we give superlatives to each character. So interestingly, they all kind of fit for this. We typically cover a lot more fantasy type books, but it works for this one. Biggest drama queen.
Oh, Elsie.
I was gonna say Dr. L.
Oh, that's true.
He's so dramatic for no reason.
He is. Here's why I say Elsie. I know that this is like an emotional trauma response, but she literally cannot handle being herself.
Correct. She cannot.
Girl, just like lies to her best friend
Constantly.
all the time
About movies, which is such a funny thing to lie
and then
about.
gets really mad when Jack lied to her.
Which she does address. She knows that is hypocritical of her. I will state. She's at least aware.
Yeah. And it is, it's a valid reaction. I wouldn't know who to be mad at, and I would be mad at the person who I grew to care for deeply.
Correct.
I get it.
Yeah.
But like, but specifically being mad about the thing that you do to everyone in your life all the time
Seems
not great.
Incredibly hypocritical.
Yep.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
No, she is a drama queen. I
But
agree
no,
with you.
Dr. L is definitely the biggest.
It's just his big meltdowns that he has constantly.
He's so dumb.
He is very dumb. Okay, most surprising thing to happen.
Ooh.
It's a little bit different in the context of this book, I think.
Yeah.
It's not like a big, dramatic fight scene or anything.
George being George.
George being Georgina Sepulveda?
Yeah.
Yes. No,
that
that's
was
fair.
shocking.
That was
I had
shocking.
no idea. I saw the Dr. L thing coming. I could feel it. There was
That's fair.
something about him that I was like, he is definitely keeping her down for some reason.
Yes.
I could feel it.
That's fair.
What about you?
So mine wasn't necessarily that Dr. L was a bad person. That was very apparent that he was a bad person. I think it was that it was directly related to Jack's mother and why all of that happened. Like, how bad he was. Like, we've all had kind of, like, crummy...
Yeah.
Not all. If you've been to college, had a college or university education, you have some crummy teachers that have definitely come up in your life. But it's fine.
Yeah.
So to me, that big reveal was surprising. Okay. We don't have to go through all of these, but would you like to go into some character talk?
Oh, yeah.
I had a list of different characters, so...
Let's break down the characters.
Yeah. Characters. So, Elsie Hannaway.
Elsie Hannaway, compulsive liar.
Correct. Which fun fact, I don't know if I mentioned this, I did become a compulsive liar for a hot minute in my life, and now I'm too honest. So, it's a really fun swing.
I think we've talked about this where, like, I saw this meme that was, like, listing attributes of the different signs. And for Sagittarius, which is me, one of them was always hiding something big. That is accurate. That is accurate.
I'm not. I am way too open and honest with everyone, always, to a fault. No, I love Elsie. I think she's very relatable in a just graduated academia, has no clue what you're doing, and just kind of fumbling through and likes Twilight and cheese.
Yes, loves Twilight and cheese. I also think it's really important to note that she has 2 older brothers. They're twins.
Yes, twin older brothers who were nightmares.
Nightmares. Her
Yes.
parents what is the term, like, parentalized her?
Parentified her.
Parentified her.
Yes.
Yes, deeply.
Continually still.
And like, are actually a nightmare. Like, they're so rude to her.
Correct.
They don't care at all about any of her academic achievements, of which she has many.
Well, they don't get why it's different than just a teacher, which, not that teachers don't deserve respect. They
No,
deserve all the respect.
they do.
But to them, that's not a respected profession.
Exactly.
So.
And yeah, just like her like, this is the thing that I kept on, I couldn't figure out if I hated her or loved her for a little bit.
Yes.
Because her inability, her people pleasing is too much. It's too much.
It is an extreme version of it.
It's too much.
I will say. I do think
frustrating.
the faux dating made it worse.
Definitely.
She got like really used to having to do it constantly. She also did have like a pretty traumatic breakup with an ex-boyfriend, which also contributes. In my mind, it contributes, but not as much as I think other things. I think it just like really solidified in her brain that people aren't going to like her for her.
Yeah.
So she has to really continue to change herself. No, she's incredible. She's probably... She might be my favorite Ali Hazelwood lead female.
She's like hilarious. She reacts emotionally in a way that's super relatable. Mm-hmm. She loves Twilight so much.
She does love Twilight so
And she loves cheese so much too.
In like, wait, I know we bring that up, but it is a really like recurring theme in this book, which is fun. I like it a lot. She's very consistent in the things that she does love and that she's decided that she wants for herself, which I do love about her. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go to, I think my personal favorite character is Jack Smith Turner. I love this man. He is, if I could marry a fictional character, he probably would be it.
He'd be high on the list? Oh, he would be it.
He would probably be it, because he's not in fantasy. So I would say, like, contemporary romance-wise that I've read. Incredible. I love him.
He's such an amazing character. Mm-hmm. He cares so deeply about a very small amount of people.
Correct.
And but he's very good at setting those boundaries, being like, listen, I don't care deeply about you, so this is our relationship.
Correct. He's upfront about it.
Very upfront.
That's fine. Mm-hmm. He's just like, hey, I know what I want. I'm a man who has very particular taste. I know that's a meme. Is very true in his situation.
It is.
He is also immediately obsessed with Elsie, to the point, because again, he met her as his brother's first ever girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no.
Yeah. Like, he does hate her because he's in love with her
He's
already.
in love with her immediately and is so guilty. He's like, you kept making physics jokes and I was so confused.
Yeah, because you're a
librarian. And he's like, you were just incredible and intelligent. And so I kept asking Greg about you and you took that as, I hate you, instead of, I am in love with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, poor Jack, he was so baffled by it.
He was so confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, I don't. Because he's like, I've liked people, but not like this.
Yeah. He also is as early as is appropriate in their relationship.
Yep.
Is all about her.
Immediately.
Very vocally.
Yes.
And she does not understand it. Like, it's just, I don't understand. It goes nowhere in her brain.
There is kind of like a funny, it's not really a subplot. So we mentioned this is a spicy book.
Yeah.
So she admits at one point basically that she like had intimate relations with her first partner just because that's what was expected.
Yeah.
And so he goes, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not having intimate relations. And she assumes that's because he doesn't want to have them.
Right.
And he's like, no, that's not what I said. What did I say? And she said, we're not going to have them. And he said, you have a constant habit that you told me about of just engaging with this because you think you're supposed to.
Yeah, because you think it'll make someone else happy.
Correct. I want it to be because you want to. She goes, I really want to.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think you do. And she goes,
she's like, no, I really do.
Literally strips off her dress to prove that she does. Which is great. That scene is actually my favorite in the book.
It's so good.
It's incredible. Please go read it.
Yeah.
Yes, so I love him. He's so smart and funny and caring and incredible.
Yeah. Wrote an article in a physics journal at 17 that destroyed theoretical physics for years.
Incredibly smart. I also love a tattooed man.
Yep.
Has all these like
physics tattoos. He's like I love nerdy men. I think I've talked about this before. He's very passionate about the things that he's passionate about. I have no knowledge of physics, so I might need him to like go into biology or something different. But we could figure it out. It's fine. I love him deeply. Okay, Greg Smith. Oh, Greg.
I love Greg.
He's so great.
He's so bumbling for someone who clearly is very put together.
Yeah.
like, he's, like, got a great job, like, in,
Yeah.
like, a really corporate, like, job setting, and just is trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Aren't we all? He's trying to figure
Correct.
it out, and he's, like, so supportive of Elsie.
He loves her.
He loves her.
He is so excited. He's like, you're going to be my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Love this.
He cannot wait.
He's so stoked about it.
It's amazing.
I love him. Dr. L.
Dr. L.
Dr. Laurendow.
He is a nightmare.
He is the epitome of what can be really dangerous and harmful in academia,
Yeah.
and how much control someone like that can have in your life. And it's really scary,
It is scary.
especially if you're someone who is in a field like Elsie is, that is very male dominated, and you need help to navigate it.
Yeah, like, it's not her fault that she needs help,
No.
right? Like,
No.
and yet he loves to throw that in her face.
Correct.
And he even says, like when she's like, I need this job at MIT, adjuncting doesn't have health insurance, it doesn't pay enough, I don't have enough time to do the research that I actually want to do instead of teaching, like, whiny, snotty, you know, teenagers.
Yes.
And he's like, you can make the time if you really want. Stop teaching so much. And she's like, but I can't.
I can't afford to stop teaching so much. And he's just like, I don't understand.
He's like, I don't get it.
There is this, like, recurring theme that she brings up is, like, people who are tenured
Yeah.
don't remember what it's like to be poor.
Yeah.
They have no concept. They are no longer getting paid like that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, everyone's fine.
I think that is, to bring it to the real world. Sorry, outside of the book. We were talking about the real world.
Yes.
To bring it to our world.
Yes.
Though, very much the same when it comes to, like, people in business.
Oh, yeah.
Do not remember what it's like to work and deal with people who hate you because of something you didn't do.
Correct.
And are like, well, why can't you just fix the problem? Oh, I don't know. Do you not remember?
Explaining to your boss how to do your job that they're supposed to know is always a really humbling experience for all involved.
Yes.
It's always wild.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's like, you did this job, otherwise you wouldn't have gotten to where you are.
Correct.
How have you forgotten?
Correct.
Which is what she is dealing with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, like, very common. Like, even Monica is very out of touch.
Monica's so out of touch.
Incredibly.
She literally destroyed Elsie's dreams because she wanted to, like, stick it to the man.
Correct.
Kind of.
Correct.
So.
That was just delusional. Also, she has a lot of cow print rugs, and that really makes me giggle because they're
funny.
in the Northeast.
I know. That's really funny.
Georgina Sepulveda.
I love her so much.
She might be my favorite, like, other female in this.
Yeah.
She's very spunky, very smart, absolutely calls Jack on his stuff. Probably the only person that does, because Elsie doesn't.
Nope.
She calls Jack, like, Jack, stop doing that.
Yep.
Stop being an idiot.
She, upon their first meeting, she didn't realize that Elsie was the other person, right?
Correct. Yes.
And as soon as she makes Jack tell her what's going on, because she thought that Elsie was a librarian too.
Correct, yeah, because Jack is obsessed with her to the point that he's talking about it with all of his friends.
All of his friends.
Can't let it go.
As soon as she realizes that Elsie is the one who was also interviewing, she apologizes. She's like, I'm so sorry. If I had known, I would not have just told you that you didn't get the job in such a manner.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I have my own funds for my project, and that has nothing to do with Jack or anything, and I want you to work for me because I need you.
Correct. Yeah, she immediately sees that she's talented and intelligent, and she's like, you will eventually be me.
Yeah.
You have the talent to be me. I have 10 years on you.
Yeah.
Like, which also Jack does. I don't think I ever processed their age gap difference.
Oh, that's right. Maybe Elsie is in her 20s then.
I think she's in her 20s because, I mean, if she was in elementary or like early middle school when he was 17, that's decent. It's not written that way. I just don't think it's an important tidbit, but there is like a good, like 10 years or so, I think, between them.
And she's also like, she sees that like Dr. L is like, oh, teaching, there's plenty of other teaching. He's like, don't be a postdoc, be a teacher. Yeah. You know, and she's like, but I can't keep adjuncting because it doesn't have any of the benefits that I need. Right? Yeah. George is immediately like, you hate teaching. I can see it.
Well, also, most people do postdoc work so they can get published, so they can get the good teaching jobs.
Right.
Like, you have to be, that's the cycle. You have to be published to get them.
And so she's like, do the research, finish the research. And Elsie is like, is there health insurance? And she's like, yeah.
She's like, you don't have health insurance? What do you mean you don't have health insurance?
Excuse me? So anyways, if you're an adjunct professor, by the way, out there, you are incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and you deserve health insurance. If that is true, that sucks.
This was not something that I knew. I knew adjuncting was hard.
It might depend on the university.
On the university and things. I also think it depends on if you're like an adjunct for one class.
Yeah.
Or like just a non-tenured track professor, so they call you an adjunct.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think the professor that I had that I knew was an adjunct, I don't think she worked anywhere else. Like, this was the only thing. She just wasn't like a tenured track professor, so...
I did work in the university system, and I did hire professors, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I did when I was in college, but like post-college, I have not worked in academia. I knew that was not the path that I wanted to take.
Correct. Same.
So,
got a degree in literature, went to payroll instead.
Yeah, I mean, I got a degree in sociology and also went to finance.
That are built for academia. We were like, no thanks.
We got liberal arts degrees and said no thank you.
Yeah. And yet here we are podcasting.
This is what we're using
UCLA.
It for. Hey, come on. Get us our doctorate. This is a reference, by the way, to we were talking about
to a previous episode
where we think that UCLA should give us honorary doctorates in literature.
Like because we talk about literature as at a doctorate level, honestly.
Correct. We were analyzing it in a fun, really cool way.
Exactly.
So I think eventually if we have enough out there, we can totally submit it and they'll give it to us.
We definitely
I don't
can.
think it'll be that hard. Okay, one last person. This is a very important person in the book, but I had to gloss over it just because of the nature is Cece.
Cece.
I love Cece.
She is also on Foe.
Yes, is also a foe.
And she starts dating Kirk, the owner of
like this really like scientific tech company thing.
Yeah.
Which we love.
Casual. She is the most she is so like quirky.
Correct.
If you looked up the definition of quirky, Cece would be there.
Yes, she is Zooey Deschanel.
Yes, she's very like, she loves science fiction.
She does love sci-fi.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
She loves movies. She loves language. She loves hedgehogs.
She loves hedgehogs. She has a hedgehog named
Hedgie.
Hedgesabeth Bennett.
Oh, I don't know. They just call him Hedgie.
It's in there, like, in the beginning of the book. I think she's named after Elizabeth Bennet.
That's very funny.
Yeah. Cece is great. My favorite thing about Cece is that when Elsie tells her that she's been lying about everything, she's like...
she starts throwing cheese at her.
But she forgives her. She's like, you have been... she was like, were you afraid that I wouldn't still love you if you didn't like the things that I like?
And
That's
she's crying.
so stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I also think in Cece's mind, she has to be like, these movies have to be torture if you hate them.
Yeah.
That feels like punishment enough.
Yeah. Oh, Cece is very self-aware. She knows. Yeah.
Oh, good golly. What do you think about academic rivals to lovers?
I loved it. It was so good because you have like that witty banter that you have between two very intelligent people who like hate each other so much that it crosses the line into love. It's so good.
So I love an enemies to lovers. Specifically for me, academic rivals to lovers is my favorite version of that. I think it's kind of under that umbrella because there's like the tension feels very real, which I love, and it's hot.
It is hot. It is so hot. You're right.
It's probably my favorite, like, between two people tropes. The one bed trope is my ultimate favorite trope.
I mean, yes.
But that's like, that can be in any of them.
It could be anywhere. Yeah.
This, in terms of like overarching tropes, academic rivals
it
to
is
lovers.
Actually in this book too. The one bed trope.
The one bed trope is also in here, which we love. Have you read any other academic rivals to lovers style novels?
A Discovery of Witches, but that is, they're not really rivals. They're in completely different,
like species camps.
She's in, so she's a witch and he's a vampire. But also she is in alchemy and he is in like biology. And
got you. So they're not directly
different
competing.
Realms of science completely.
You.
But the tension is very real. It's there.
It is, yes. I've only seen the show. I have not read the book, but...
I love that book series so much.
I've heard great things.
It's good.
Have not got around to it. I will say most of the academic rivals to lovers, is either fan fiction, which is what Ali Hazelwood is known for, or her books is mostly what I've read. In that, I would say technically Zodiac Academy is probably slightly academic lovers to rivals.
So.
It's also other things.
Yeah.
If you want to consider it that, it's loosely that. But yeah,
Zodiac Academy feels like just one big fan fiction. Fever pitch,
I'm
fever
very
dream.
convinced that it is, and I really want to know what one was.
Yeah.
I want to know what the characters are supposed to be. But so outside of the one bed trope, was there any other things that you noticed? I know you touched on the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. If there's any more on that, you can talk about it.
Okay, Manic Pixie Dream Girls are basically created for the male gaze.
Correct.
In order to be the most pleasing.
Correct.
In any way. So like Zooey Deschanel, very Manic Pixie Dream Girl. If you've ever seen Garden State.
I have not, but I've heard of it.
Oh God, what's her name? Natalie Portman, Manic Pixie Dream Girl. She's very quirky. She's very witty. You know, like it's this idea that like, oh, Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
She pretends to be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Yes. She... Honestly, Elsie kind of gives her vibes.
Really, I have not read Gone Girl.
Not directly. She's very psycho scary. Elsie's very cutesy. But
yes.
The whole "I will be whatever you want me to be" thing
is very much in that.
Very much the same. And you know, and they'll be like quirky and have really weird, interesting and totally wacky interests that they'll die on a hill for.
Yes.
And like so, I was like reading this and I was just like, because I love the idea of Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but I also hate it.
I think it's complicated.
Yeah.
I also will state that, like, when we were in high school and college, this was a very, very prevalent trope in most media.
And yeah, like basically everything.
That was like the thing that you wanted to be, especially in like the social media spheres.
Yeah.
If you were ever on Tumblr, you know.
Yeah. Like this untouchable, very cool, very quirky, like doesn't care about anything but really actually deeply cares about it. Like the only reason that you come off that way is because you methodically plot.
Correct. Yes.
I was telling Colleen that one of the things that really endeared this book to me is that Jack does not want a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
He's like, why are you like this?
He is like, be honest. Stop drinking coffee because you think it'll please me.
Yeah.
Stop doing things that you hate or cause you anxiety because you think that's what people want from you. Be yourself.
I think the thing that I've always found interesting about this that I think is coming up in a different way now, not in the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but is still prevalent in media, that I think, so for women, it's like, oh, they're constantly changing and doing all of this stuff. But I don't think people think about it sometimes from, like, what that also means on the man, of, like, he is... like there's a lot of expectation on you to like provide, isn't quite the right word, but kind of like he's like, I don't want you, because like she's gonna look nice and all this stuff, but on the side she's gonna be having meltdowns. Right, he's gonna know that, he's gonna see that. And you either have the choice of being like Jack and being like, hey, what's wrong with you, or you have to just ignore it and pretend like everything's fine.
Right, which that does suck.
It sucks. That's like the downside, because I think sometimes men think like, oh, there's no downsides for me. There are downsides for you. You're never gonna know a real person.
Right.
They're gonna be a shell. You're gonna know they're a shell. Like, you can tell.
Yes.
Like, whether or not, like, people like, they don't know. They know.
No, they know.
And like eventually that gets less interesting.
It does.
Which is when you start getting divorces at 40 and find a new young girl to marry.
Correct.
Because she's not boring anymore.
Right.
That is what happens. That is the breakdown of like...
Yeah.
And like, I think there are people who are naturally quirky. Like, I know we brought up Zooey Deschanel. I do think she is a naturally quirky, fun person. She tends to play very quirky characters. So I don't think being quirky and like wanting to please people is a negative, but taking it to the extreme that like Elsie does and like I think other people have, even in real life, can be really damaging to both parties.
To everyone. It's the unforeseen consequences argument that she used for Jack is like for her too. Yeah, absolutely. She's been lying to her family. Now her family deserves it. Well, she deserves better than her family.
She was doing it her family, that was a survival technique. I don't blame that. Blame her for that at all.
No. But then so like, and then you have Cece, who is I think if she was cast, I think if Cece had her own book and movie written by someone other than Ali Hazelwood, she would also be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yes, but she's like the fun version of it.
She is the fun version of it, and she is also not lying about a single thing about herself.
No, she just likes...
That is who she is.
Quirky. She reminds me a lot of Taylor, if you're ever watching this. My college roommate named Taylor. Very much Cece to a T.
I love that.
Is very quirky, very fun, and that was just naturally who she was.
Yeah.
Like, that was just who she still is.
Yeah.
Actually, like, one of her side jobs over the summer was she worked as a barmaid at the Renaissance Fair. Like,
That's amazing.
She's incredible.
I love that.
Did you meet her when she came up?
I don't
here?
think so.
Oh, you were in Jersey.
I was in Jersey.
Dang it.
Yeah.
But yes.
Anyways, that's my spiel on Manic Pixie Dream Girls. I do love them. I love being able to reclaim that because I think that I probably occupy that space a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm a little quirky. I think I'm less so now because I've decided that I'm just gonna be. I went through a little bit of an Elsie phase where I was trying to please people.
Absolutely.
And then I was like, this just sucks for me. So I stopped doing it.
No, it is so exhausting and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I think that's what Elsie's seeing. It doesn't work no matter how hard you try. I also went through it, but in like I think a slightly different way in college where like I went through like I wore the skater skirts and the heels and had the hair a certain way and only wore red lipstick for a year. Still think that was a great thing for me to do. There was very much this like I was really trying to mold myself to please the men around me in my life in particular, and kind of like I also had really quirky roommates and I was like I have to out quirk, so it just wasn't naturally who I was. I like nerdy things. I will also say back like when I was in college at least, nerdy meant automatically quirky. Like you couldn't be a nerdy and non-quirky person. That was not allowed, so I kind of had to lean into that element a little bit more than I wanted to. But
well, I play the ukulele, so there you go.
Love that for you.
Thanks.
I was just really obsessed with YouTube. That was mostly it. And Doctor Who. I loved Doctor Who. I wish I had photos of, I think I mentioned it before, a particular outfit that was insane. Actually not too far off from a CC outfit. So I was obsessed with Doctor Who. So I had this metallic printed Doctor Who top that was like a black metallic printed, and then a white skater skirt that had the Doctor Who TARDIS and the Union Jack on it.
So cute.
With knee-high blue Doctor Who TARDIS socks that I would wear with like high-heeled booties. Those ones that I wore out the other night, that was what I would wear them with.
Oh my God, Colleen.
And
do you still have that stuff?
No, and I'm so upset about it. And that's how I walked around. That was my most worn outfit. I wore that into an academic advisor meeting with my personal academic advisor, and he was like, do you want to go to England? Because they were going. I couldn't afford to go. So I was like, I would love to, but I'm really broke, and I just can't afford it. And he was like, I think you'd like it a lot. I'm like literally physically wearing the Union Jack on my outfit at this point. And I was like, maybe I should have worn something different.
That's so funny.
So I definitely fit into like probably more the quirky CC realm than the LC realm. But
No, I love it. I love it.
I put, what do you think about Jack? Which we already talked about. I said I would marry him on the spot. We already got that. That was my personal note about him.
I do have something to add.
Oh, do you want to add more about it?
I do have something to add. I think we've talked about this before. We're attracted to intelligence. Reading this book was like, it was so perfect.
It fed the different parts of my brain that needed to be fed to make him hot.
Especially because we've been reading ACOTAR for 6 months.
This was such a good like palate cleanser.
It was really good.
Because like we recently came to realize that actually the inner circle are not that bright.
They're so dumb.
And so seeing like an emotionally and educationally intelligent man being represented and pursuing her actively and consistently until like, and would have backed off if she really wanted him to, kind of thing. But like seeing someone who was excited to date her and wanted to date her and just like his passion for her.
Amazing.
So smart.
That's
love
all
him.
I wanted to add.
No, his intelligence is a lot
good.
of what makes him attractive, which kind of leads into, we don't need to get all of into it, the spicy scenes.
Oh my goodness.
The windowsill scene. So I was telling Oorja there was a scene in this book when I first read it, because I listened to books at work, where I had to take my headphones out and just be like, I need to take, because like if someone tries to come talk to me right now, I'm like blushing. I do not blush over scenes, but it felt so real.
Yes. Ali
Ali
Hazelwood.
Ali.
What?
That is how all of her scenes are written. They're incredible. She truly writes my favorite. Like, when I'm talking about spicy scenes, I'm always comparing them to how she writes them.
That's
so
fair.
far, no one has compared from me personally.
Yeah.
The way that she writes the scenes is the way that I like to read them, basically. I was, again, reading this recently. Once again, had to take my headphones out and take a break every time.
I was physically reading it, and I don't know what my face was, but I'm pretty sure Joel wasn't, he didn't see me reading them. But I'm pretty sure my eyes were wide and my face was red. As red as I can get.
Burgundy, maybe? Is it red?
It just gets slightly darker.
No, okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still blushing, regardless.
Blushing hard.
Hey, come on. They're so well constructed. Ali, you do such a good job of, because they don't feel, I think a lot of people, when they talk about spice, they're like, oh, it's because it's dirty. These do not feel dirty.
No.
At all. They feel very real and sweet.
Yeah.
And sexy.
They do.
Like, they feel very fun.
Yeah, like, they're, like, talking and, like, giggling about things, right, as, like, they're getting into it. It feels very real. It's not like it's not like he touched me and I was instantly ready for it type of thing.
This is why I like to read spice written by women, not by men. I've seen some really insanely incredibly bad written spice scenes by men. Yeah. But no, Ali, if you ever happen to see this one, I love you so much. I will sob if you see this. But you write these so well, and I adore you. So do you think the relationship is believable?
I do.
I do too. I think that's a really interesting conversation that I think we often have about couples. Because, like, I think sometimes they don't seem believable. They very much seem believable to me.
They do. They are each other's equals in every single way.
Correct. There's not, like, a power imbalance outside of maybe money, just because.
Outside of money, yeah.
But it seems to be, like, Jack doesn't really spend it.
No.
He doesn't really care about it.
He doesn't have any curtains. His windows are bare.
She's like, I'm literally living in, like, a snow globe, essentially, because it's, like, snowing, and she's like, I am so exposed. Like, he's living this, gorgeous, multi-window, open air thing, and she's like, everyone can see me. Yeah. This is a nightmare. Which is very fair. I would also be like, please get curtains or blinds. Yeah. Blinds at minimum.
At minimum. No, when he thinks that Elsie is lying to Greg, when he's not aware that Greg hired her,
correct,
and is aware of everything that's going on, he's a little bit like, is it for the money? Like, what is,
Which is fair.
That is fair.
Because he's just assuming she's pretending to like him, and, like, him and Greg have an incredibly close and wonderful relationship, and so he's just like,
like, it's not on his behalf or his family's behalf. It's on his brother's behalf.
He thinks he's defending his very beloved and confused brother.
But as soon as that's over, he's like, let me take care of you because I can.
Yeah.
Like, let me take care of you because I can. If you don't want me to, I won't. But, like, why don't you want me to?
Yeah, the job thing was bad on him.
No, the job, not talking about the job thing. I'm talking about, like, hey, move into my apartment.
Yeah, and she's like, why?
Yeah, and he's like, what? Because of the moth crabs that you keep on complaining about.
That are also tropical bugs.
Yeah.
They don't live here. She's like, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just spawn here.
Yep.
He's just like...
And he's like, please get out of here. Yes. I beg of you.
And it's not really, like, in a judgmental way. He's just afraid for her.
Yeah.
He is very concerned.
And he's like, let me, and then, like, when... Yeah, I just think, like, he treats her as such an equal in every way.
Correct.
It's so realistic. Like, they're gonna make it.
Correct. No, if they have to,
they will.
They will.
There is absolutely no question.
No. Yeah, and so that's kind of the thing is, do you think they will continue after the end of the book?
Absolutely.
Do you think it'll be, like, a longer lasting?
Absolutely. They're getting married. Millicent is going to bestow half the fortune on them and half on Greg because they will convince her that Greg is worthy.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love Millicent also. We didn't really touch on her. She's this really
the eccentric grandma who's got all the money.
She's who I want to be.
She's
She's so incredible.
She's so funny.
I love her. So that's really all I have. Mostly any ending thoughts?
This was really fun. I do love that we got the opportunity to discuss this here at the Novel Neighbor.
Yes.
They do have a romance bookstore too.
Called
that's
Open Door Romance?
Yes.
It's incredible.
And so this is just like a really fun location. I think this was a really good book to do in between regular seasons.
Correct. Yes.
It was an easy read. Like, I read it in 4 days, I think.
Yeah, it's got a lot of, it's more relational instead of like complicated world building that you have to take the time to put together. Like, you can read about a relationship.
But I didn't skim through it. Like, I read it in 4 days because I was devouring it.
Yes.
Like, it is a real book. It's very good.
I didn't want to put it down the first time I read it.
It's written so well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Ali Hazelwood, I think I'm a fan of, I am a fan. I think what I meant to say was I think I might cry if I meet you too, but instead I said I think I'm a fan too.
You can also cry with me.
Yeah, I'll cry with you.
I think she would also cry with us. I think we could all cry together.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great.
Let's make it happen.
It'll be great. Okay.
Also, if your love of Twilight is what inspired Elsie's love of Twilight Marathon, literally whenever you want.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be very fun. We have shirts.
And if you want to make a cheese board to go with it, we'll do it.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yay.
This was so fun.
This has been so fun. Thanks again to the novel Neighbor. We love you.
You've been incredible.
If you haven't visited their store, you should. It's humongous.
It is huge. Way bigger than I
They
thought.
have a lot of books, and they put on a lot of really fun events.
They do. Please,
So.
please, please.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye, y'all.